Hello everyone and welcome to the Pequot War primary source activity. So to begin, to access this, we're going to be in our Schoology page and we're going to go back into Module 1 folder. And at the bottom of the folder, there's another folder called the Pequot activity. Okay, so click right there. Now here I have a couple of websites, which I'm going to go back to in a moment, about the Pequot War. Here's the video that we watched in class in case you wanted to reference it again. Here's a PDF of all the primary sources. I also gave this out in class as a hard copy. And here's a link to the document assignment on Google Classroom. So we're going to click this link and it's going to bring it to this tab and we're going to open up this document. Now if you're in class, you're going to share this out. One person in the group shares this with every other person in the group. So you're really only working on one shared Google document. Now if you want to actually find the documents here as well, you can just click here for the actual readings, all right? Or you can download them as a PDF if you want to work with them that way. But you also have a hard copy in class. So the goal of this is really to take different accounts of the Pequot War. We have basically 5 different sources. One's from Governor John Winthrop, and I'm here in the sources now. The other one is from Underhill. He was also mentioned in the video and the Hirsch and Jennings articles. Then we have the account from Mason. Same idea. He was mentioned in the Hirsch and Jennings articles. And we have this really kind of neat account from an actual Pequot descendant. It was written a long time later, in 1830s, but it gives you a great sense of their perspective. And then you have this, we're going to skip the Williams document. Don't do that one. Then we have this one from George Washington. Again, it was over 100 years later, but again, it gives you a great insight into how the Pequot incident really impacted even later events. Okay, so that's where that will actually stop. So as a group, you're going to assign one document to each person in the group. Each individual talks about the significant points of the document, bullet points, at least 2 or 3 really good direct quotes from the document. I want to analyze the point of view or the bias. So consider who the author was and then how that particular bias impacts how they write about the document. And then try to connect the source to the Jennings or Hirsch articles. So get those articles out, try to make those connections, and as bonus credit, if you find a really good direct quote from Jennings or Hirsch, tie that into those primary sources and then explain the connection. So each person in the group can actually do this. So make sure you put your name so I know who did which document. But then at the end here, I want you guys to work together as a group and sort of brainstorm. I want you to go through these 2 websites, okay? So you have the Pequot Battlefield website, which is really kind of neat. All right, it has some great things. You can talk about the Battle of Fort Mystic. It's got some other battles here. It's got some really neat visuals and some neat articles. So go and go into this and who was the Pequot War. You got some great things you can kind of look at, especially these 2 aspects. And there's some other things here too. So some really great aspects there. And then there's this actual Pequot Museum, which is really useful. And that's another site that you can kind of go through to get a great sense of the war. So once you're done going through those sites, put down some things you might have learned from that. One significant fact per person that you learned from the website. Maybe use which site that you used. Then lastly, as a group, I want you to kind of brainstorm. I want you to create a newspaper headline that summarizes what you learned. So each person create a headline that basically puts in one or like in a nice phrase, how these are all connected together in a dramatic headline. And then once every person has their headline down, pick one that you thought was kind of not the best, but one that kind of really represents the group and highlight it. Okay, so when you're done with all that, one person will upload the document to the Turn-In Drop Pequot War primary source. Okay, so that's about it. I hope this will be a good activity for everyone, and have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.